Okay, hi sluts. Pussy, mind, body, spirit, soul. What is slut camp? Let's get into it. Blocked immediately. Welcome back. Hello, sluts. Welcome back to this new slut edition of Slut Camp. I'm Emma, and today we have so much to go over. So much was foreshadowed in the last episode of what we're talking about today. And I'm so fucking excited because this topic and this story is probably one of my top 3, to be honest. So you're in for a real fucking treat. I hope that you have enjoyed the last few episodes and that you are just salivating for more. I'm ready to provide, and this is a good one. So strap the fuck in, get a drink, sit down, get your makeup, put it on, get ready. Make a little drinky drink. Make a little tequila situation because tequila makes you horny. Tequila makes you want to dance. Tequila is a mythical upper. So, fuck vodka, drink tequila. Thank you. That is my PSA. Okay. So, the slut affirmation of the day. I need to get my second shot. I have my bottle opener. I'm ready to go. Whoever made this, why the fuck did you put a bottle cap on it? Not fucking cool. The slut affirmation for this episode, for you, for your girls. And this is more of like a tip, but I guess think about it as you go into your night. Don't be scared. Go for the balls. Play them like you're Mozart and you're composing Requiem like a piano. Thank you. Cheers. Oh, Jesus. We did it. Okay, let's fucking dive in. I also want to swiftly update since our first or second, I can't remember whatever the fuck episode it was where we talked about the twins. The new twin, the OG twin has contacted me recently, and he might be coming back to New York soon, so stay tuned for our threesome story. I'm just kidding. Maybe. I hope. Now that we are loosened up, lips, in both senses of the word, I'm going to start today's episode with a story that may be the reason that you stop listening to a single word that I say or start listening to every word I say. I have to tell this story because it's so profound. It's so me. It makes so much sense. It describes me as a person. If you haven't understood who I am in the past few episodes, anything I've said, you will now. Our topic of today's story time is old men and why they're the best when you need them. It starts like this. It's any other night, any other Friday actually, this is a Thursday night. I think nothing good happens on a Thursday night, I've decided, but I decide to go out with my friend. And it's one of those weeks that's just so shitty. And it's like, I'm going out with the intention, if we're going to this said bar, I'm going to either have fun with my friend and maybe talk to a cute guy and maybe get a free tequila soda, or I'm going to go home and cry about XYZ reason. So I chose go to the bar with my friend, meet a cute guy, whatever. Because at this certain bar, and I won't say the name, but you know exactly what I'm talking about if you live in the city. It's more men than women. It's in the West Village, and that's basically all I need to say. And there's usually a fucking line. So my friend and I wait online. We get inside, and it's like within 5 minutes, it's like the universe was like, we're here to fuck you. And not in a kind way. It's like we walk in, my friend is like approached by 5 or 6 different guys immediately the second we walk in. And it's like, okay, perfect. Obsessed. Like, she is stunning, beautiful, love her so much. But I'm basically pushed aside like, okay, invisible. Of course, I let it get to my head because it happens. Every girl has had this experience wherever the fuck you live. I don't care if it's in New York. I don't care if it's in LA. It's like the ass crack of the middle of the United States. Like, it is always going to happen at some point in a woman's life, which is so fucking sad because it it should never happen this way. But anyways, I'm basically like chopped liver. I'm like, okay, like perfect. I want to leave. So I said to my friend, I'm like, we do so fucking well at a sports bar. Should we leave? Like being like, like let's fucking go. And she's like, of course. Like, oh my God, let's get the fuck out. Like you're not having fun. Fine. That is a G. If your friend is not saying that as the response, or at least giving a reason why you should stay, that is like making you want to stay, then they're not your fucking friend. So we walk outside and I immediately start like breaking down in tears. Like it's like emotional city up in this bitch. I'm not a crier. I'm not an emotional person. So that was like a weak moment for me. And I am starting to cry. And my friend's like, like Emma, like don't make this about them. Like they fucking suck. Like it's just like this atmosphere being in that place. Like it's a lot of pressure. It's a lot, whatever. Regardless, she tries to like amp me up. She tries to like give me like the hype woman that she's being. It's fucking great. All of a sudden, these 3 guys walk up. They look at me, the middle guy, who is like tall, dark, and handsome. Like they don't look old. But I found out later that they were. They don't look old. Old in the sense that like they look like they're maybe like late 30s. So I was like, and I do love an older man. Like I'm not looking for a like teeny bopper, like old man. Comes up to me, South African accent, like sexual. He's literally like, why are you crying? Like your eyes are so beautiful. I'm like, literally, thank you. But this bar was terrible. I'm just like having a moment, like trying to like get rid of him kind of. And he's like, no. Takes my hands. You're not having a bad night. I'm buying you a drink. Like, whatever. If you have a bad time inside with me, you can go home. I'm like, okay, Poppy. So he takes me inside, walks straight past the bouncer. It is like, he's been here before and I'm ignoring that. But like, okay, sick. He just goes straight in, walks straight up to the bar. He's like, what do you want? I'm like, I want 4 French 75s. He orders me literally 4 French 75s. I was like, okay. 4 French 75s on deck. My friend is sitting next to me. She's like getting chatted up the wazoo by all these men. I'm like, you're fine. Like you go dick off somewhere else. This man is accompanied by 2 other men, one of which is apparently his birthday. He's hammered. He is flirting with anyone that has a pulse. I'm like obsessed. The other one looks like he wants to leave and never wake up again. Like he is so pissed to be there. I'm like literally my 2 moods. Me and this guy, the South African accent, he is just chatting me up. He is like eye contact. He's so tender. Like it was giving what it needed to give in that moment. The universe was like, here you go, bitch. Here's your lemons. Like squeeze them, make lemonade. So I made a French 75. I'm chatting with him. I'm basically standing like in between his legs. We start making out, whatever. It's hot. We're talking. I'm like, thank fucking literally God. Like this is what I needed. Having the best time, drinking my drinks, chatting with this man, God knows about what. All of a sudden, his friend comes up and he's like, something about our wives. And I'm like, are you married? I'm like, what wife? Wives, plural. Are you guys married? And he's like, yeah, we're all married. And I was like, you don't seem fucking married. Like, what? He's like, oh yeah, we're in open marriages. And I was like, this is fucked. I was like, okay, perfect. So I turned to my mans and I'm like, are you married? And he's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. I'm like, do you have kids? He's like, yeah, 2. I'm like, oh, okay, perfect. I'm like trying to do the math in my head. I'm like, he looks 40 something. Like I like couldn't tell at this point. I continued to try to ignore, and I'm like thinking in my head, obviously as I'm drunk, I'm like, this isn't my problem. Like this is clearly his problem. I go up to the drunk friend. He's like flirting with all these guys. And I was like, what, does he not have a wife? Like what's happening? And this guy that I'm talking to originally, South African, he says, oh, he's like, he's gay when he's drunk. I'm like, oh my God, like what? Okay, like obsessed. The other one who was pissed off, I'm like, he seems reliable and trustworthy. And I go up to him and I'm like, is this man married? Like, actually? And is he in an open marriage? Like, what? Like, give me the fucking 411. And he's like, we're all married. He's in an open marriage with his wife for the past like 10 years. And it's like just for the kids. I'm like, it's all I needed to hear. I just needed reassurance that I'm not like doing something. I'm not like train wrecking this bitch. So I go back to him and I'm like, okay, fine. Like, whatever, we're already here. Like, give me your ID so I can see like if you are who you say you really are. In my blacked out drunken state, I'm like trying to be responsible slightly. And I'm like, give me your ID. I take his ID. I'm looking at it and it says the date of birth. And I'm like, me trying to do like math and I'm literally a communication major. I'm like, says 19 something. I'm like, how the fuck old are you? And he's like, 54. And I'm like, okay, 54. Okay. My father is also around there. I'm like, okay, and you have how many kids? He's like, 2. I'm like, yes, okay. Pushing it aside, doesn't matter. It's fine. It's cool. Everything's fine. Namaste. It's good. He's like, how old are you? I'm like, guess. He's like 25. I'm like, I'll take it. He's like, no. And I'm like, okay, 23. It's the same thing. He's like, I figured. I'm like, okay, like rude. We keep talking. Eventually we go back to the hotel they were staying at because this man is fully like from Connecticut. Like he's like, oh, I visit on the weekends. I have work. And then I go out on the weekends. It's like, the work hard, play hard mentality. I'm like, sure. Mine looks a little different, but okay. And we take him back to the hotel, the drunk friend who is flirting with all the men, who has a wife and kids. I'm like, perfect. Drop his ass off. I'm like, in retrospect, why couldn't you get another hotel room if you are 54 and clearly have money? But okay. We go back to my apartment. Okay, this is a flex room. If you live in New York, it is fucking small. Okay, this man, my bed touches both walls in the room. I am 5'5" and my feet are fucking like pressing against the wall when I wake up. So you can imagine this like 6'5" man is like in my bed in the morning. I'm like, what the actual fuck is going on? He leaves in the morning. I don't have his phone number. I don't have his middle name. I don't have his social security number. Literally nothing. I have his first name and his last name. I'm like, literally bye. Immediately he leaves my room. I'm texting my friends. I'm like, an old, I did not say his age. I was like, an old man, a married man with 2 kids just left my room. My friends are obviously concerned. They're like, should we call someone? Like, are you okay? I'm like, no, it's fine. Like, that needed to happen. Like, I'm resurrected. Like, this was so needed because you have to just have like something fucking crazy happen to you like that, where it's like, okay, put into perspective, like when something doesn't go your way, you got something fucking crazy happen to you. And that's like going to dictate, well, it would dictate for me, like what is to come or wherever you are living. That's the thing. It's like you're in your early 20s. It really doesn't fucking matter what you do because again, we're in this era of living because you didn't get to. All this to say, basically, if you are going out and you have a night like that, you have a night that you're kind of like, what the fuck just happened to me? And maybe you don't have those nights often and you do. It's like, it's meant to happen for you. It's meant to kind of ruffle your feathers in a way that's like, okay, if I can get this 54-year-old married man with 2 kids to see me on the street fucking crying, probably looking like shit, being like, she's so pretty, like eyes are sick, whatever the fuck, I don't know, then who the fuck cares if 5 or 6 men don't come up to you in that bar? Like, you can get much better and someone that'll appreciate you when you are quote unquote at your worst. The next weekend, this is just like a follow up to the story. There's nothing else to say other than the fact that that happened. But the next weekend, I get a text from my friend who was with another one of my friends, and they're both at said bar once again that I will literally never step foot in again. I cannot be bothered to go back there. I've said this multiple times. I'll never go back to this bar. I always end up going there. I'm not going anymore. I'm done. Like, I'm over it. Like, I've experienced the life there. I'm done. It's over. She's like, Tom's here. And I'm like, fuck, I'm coming. Like, literally, like, I think wherever I was, I got in a cab within 5 minutes and I fucking hauled ass to this bar. And I get inside, I find my friends. I'm like, where the fuck is he? They're like, we saw him an hour ago. We don't know. I'm like, are you fucking kidding? Like, I literally came here for Tom. He's not here? Okay, perfect. Next time I hear that this man is at this bar, you bet your fucking ass I'm getting there and within 20 minutes or less. But also concerning that he goes there a lot because there are so many young people there. It's frightening. So with that story, it makes you kind of realize, like, how many nights have I left a bar or left going out with my friends and being like so depressed. One, because I didn't get my diffmo, or two, because I didn't have a genuine good time with my girls. Like, that's just depressing. And you go home and it's like, what's there waiting for you besides, you know, your like Taco Bell? I don't know. Like, it raises the question of, is going out even fun when you are having a certain objective when you go out? So it's like, if you go out and you're like, okay, my objective for the night is to shake ass with my girls. You do that. Okay, great. Success. Mission accomplished. No worries. Taco Bell is bonus. If your mission is to go out and shake your ass on a dick, for example, and you don't get that, you come home emotionally upset and damaged, and the Taco Bell is not fun. It's not. Like, eating it is sad, and you know the feeling. Like, you've been there. And I wonder if, honestly, if men have the same experience where if you go out and you get zero action, no poon, and you get home, and is it like sad for you? Like, do you like just play video games and get stoned with your roommate, or like what do you do? Like, what are the emotions following? Because for girls, it's like so sad. Like, usually, I can speak for me and my friends, like, it's like a mental breakdown ensues, especially if you have the objective of going out and being like, I'm going to get a date for next week. I'm going to get fucked. I'm going to do whatever it is. And it's so interesting because I never thought about, like, on the other side of men, it's like, do they go out with a certain objective, or do they go out to just be like, I'm going out for beers with my bros, and then it turns into you going out. But anyways, we're going off topic. Maybe niche, and maybe for me specifically, slash some of my friends, slash people I know who are quote unquote intimidating girls. And I think I can speak of this experience. Like, I have been called intimidating so many times in my life, and it's not by like people in my workplace, people who I encounter on a daily basis. It's like either by men, my guy friends. Like, if I say to a guy friend or a guy that I'm talking to, I'm like, am I intimidating? Answer is 99.9% of the time always going to be yes. I think it's just a thing of me being confident, and they can kind of sense that. And it's like this interesting role where they either want to go for a girl who is intimidating but also like challenging, or someone who is kind of just, and I hate to say like mousy, or just like someone who they feel is like very pretty, and like once you start talking to them, it's easy. Not that they're easy, but it's easy. I feel that the concept of being like quote unquote intimidating is so frustrating, and it has been a point of contention for me being who I am and living here and coming out of my shell and just like experiencing dating and going out in New York City and life here. It's like no one can tell you exactly why you're intimidating. I remember being out with my roommate, dive bar, like near our apartment, and this like weird ass old man like came up to us, and we're just having a normal conversation. Like, we're not there to talk to men or have that vibe for the night. And he comes right up to us and is like, you girls are intimidating. Like, what's your problem? It's like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, we're just sitting here having a conversation. It's like, I don't know what it is, but it's almost like they're afraid of you. But then if you're afraid of me, why are you coming up to me and telling me that I'm intimidating? Is that like endearing for you? It's not for me. Begs the question, you know, what kind of men are then like into these like confident, like intimidating women? Not saying that this man was, apparently he was, because he had the lady balls to come up to us and tell us that we're intimidating, but also like this like sense of confidence, something that is prevalent in a lot of women and they suppress it? Or is it something that's attractive to guys? Like, it's something that is, I've dealt with on a daily basis, and I have flipped to kind of be more positive in the sense that's like, I'm confident. If that makes me intimidating, fucking whatever. I just have a sense of self, and I have a sense of my self-worth and self-respect. And if you don't fucking like that, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. That's what they say. So that is that. You need to be yourself. You need to be confident. People can humble you. That's cool. But you can't be humbled too often. You know yourself the best. This is a whole other topic of like the apps, but I've kind of edged around certain conversations on dating apps or etiquette on dating apps or whatever. I first and foremost have not had a dating app since like November of 2023 and have relapsed one time for like a week. But those apps are meant to be deleted and re-downloaded. So there's so much etiquette to talk about on them. I've actually seen many videos recently that are like, if you meet a guy on a dating app, like it's not going to last. And I think that a lot of the times, depending on the app or depending on the certain guy that you are looking for on that app or who you're talking to or what excuses that you're making for a guy being like a good match for you based on, oh, he doesn't look like that weird kind of thing, it's probably not going to work out. The one thing I will say that I've noticed some of my guy friends that they have in their bios that I've made them, like forced them to take out of their little like descriptions or whatever, is that like, I think it's only on Hinge, it's like that long-term relationship open to short or vice versa. Take that the fuck out of your bio. It is, and if girls, like if you see that in a man's bio, like literally like do not match with them. It's such a weird thing to have in your profile, and maybe it's like you don't know how to remove it like physically, because I just think Hinge is such and I hate to say it, but I've always thought this way. Hinge is such a fucking millennial coded app because it's just like the prompts are so terrible. It's the way it's made is so terrible. Everyone on it is so fucking weird, and including myself, I've been on it. But it's just one of those apps that's like you gotta just step away and go the fuck out with your friends. Like, get off of the app and go out and meet people in real life, because we're not in a time in our lives where you have to be inside anymore and you have to be on your computer all day long. Like, you don't. You can go out with your friends and talk to people, and it's not scary. And I also think that's like going off of what I was saying before about being young in my age and experiencing COVID in the time where you're supposedly having your party girl slutty era. It's now becoming more like, oh, you're still doing that. And maybe that's not the way that most people look at it, but that's sometimes how I feel because of all my friends getting in these relationships. It's like you kind of just have to accept the fact that you do not need the app, that you can go a month without talking to a guy, that you are free to experience what you want to experience on your time, your timeline, whatever that is for you. The pressure externally from other people is real. I talked about this recently with one of my friends, and why I was asked recently, like, why am I single? And I think that I haven't convinced myself that I need to not be single, because why do I need to actively decide that for myself? It's kind of one of those things that you go out and figure out on your own. Is that something that you want? Is that something that someone else wants for you? Is that something that your friends have like drilled into your head? Or maybe you go out with the same people every weekend and it's like the intention is always to shake ass on the dick. Like, that shouldn't be the precedent for the weekend. And I'm surely that is not how men think, and it shouldn't be how you dictate your weekend. So when you go out with your friends, when you're getting ready for the night, and I give you all these like slut affirmations, whatever, I'm just wanting you to have a good time, to go out and not think about things like that. Because when you think of the future, when you think of something that's to come for that night, you almost kill your vibe immediately, because if that doesn't happen, depression, worst night ever, Taco Bell tears. I get it. I've been there more often than not. I need to stop fucking ordering Taco Bell. I did not ever have it in college. Why in New York do I want it like for every meal? It's so fucking good. Anyways, if that is the reason you're going out, you need to change your mindset. You have to go out with the intention of being in the present moment with your fucking friends. The music is good or it's bad and you laugh about it, whatever the fuck. You have a good time, you shake your ass, and maybe you suck a little dick. Like, that's a bonus. That's an add-on. The reason that there's like this whole conversation about, oh, girl's girl, not a girl's girl, blah, 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 blah. What I've been talking about is so fucking stupid, because it's like someone is determined of having friends or having good, loyal friends based on the fact that they want to end up with a guy. Fucking say it to your friends. They're not going to be like, okay, freak. Like, they're going to be like, yeah, kind of same. Or they're going to be like, well, that's not like where we're going. If, for example, I love to go to this one bar. There are almost never majority straight men there. And that's fine, because I love to go there and shake ass. Like, if I want to go out and meet a guy, I'm going to go somewhere that's not like shaking ass usually, unless it's like one of those situations that's just like, oh, we're coincidentally shaking ass at this place. And there are coincidentally straight men, and they're coincidentally hot, and you go talk to them. That's usually not the case. It's like you have a precedent for the night. Oh, we're going to this bar, we're going to this place, we're going to this place. You know what the vibe is, or you don't. That's why I bring people to the bar that I love to go to, because it is purely joy, shaking ass, hanging with your girls, getting on elevated surfaces, dancing to disco. Like, it's not going to talk to a guy, and maybe you entertain a few guys there like that are prevalent, but that is just not the energy. If you do want to see a guy like pop off in your fucking DMs, like, I don't know what to tell you. Go on your apps, go on, text your ex, text your, I don't know, like situationship, whatever it is. But when you go to those bars, you're with your girls. You have this one life. You can do what you want. You can choose to be slutty, and you can choose to not. And that's your path. You choose your happiness. You choose your path. Okay, and I want to leave you with one thing. All of this to say that you need to have these like experiences wherever you live, especially if you're young, especially if you're living in a new city, a new environment. You have to just have that like fuck all mindset and be confident and do what you want, because otherwise life is complicated. Focus your complicated things towards work, towards your career, towards whatever. Your friends should be the easiest thing in your life, your dating life. It can be complicated, but it should be the thing that makes you, when you get a crush and it's just like the thing that like dictates your whole day, week, month, life, year. Think of like dating as like always having like a crush. And if you don't have one, it feels like it's this weird sense of like emptiness, and you can't have that because it's going to dictate the rest of your life, your career, your friends, your family, whatever. You have to have this constant mindset of like, I'm going to have this XYZ thing happen. I'm going to have fun with my friends. I'm going to shake ass. I'm going to take shots. I'm going to potentially like blow the bouncer that I've been friends with for the past 6 months, and potentially might ruin my relationship with said bar, not coming from personal experience. But what I will leave you with is, and what we're going to foreshadow for next week, is the telltale old classic story of dating a DJ. And for too long. Sometimes the DJs, the time period lasts long, but they don't. Oh, boo. So I will see you next time. Cheers. Take your last shot. Go out, shake ass, have fun. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye, sluts. Anyways.